What's up, Lorehounds? It's Cooper here. I'm inside the World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth booth here with one of the producers, Daniel. So, Dan, first things first, like, what is going to hook people back in for those that may have lapsed?
Well, I don't know if you can hear it outside the walls, but I'm hearing a lot of people shouting for the Horde and for the Alliance. So I think just that whole long-standing rivalry is what's going to bring people back, because this is the time to kind of show your colors. I'm showing mine, by the way, Alliance today.
I agree. I can go. I can roll with you. Obviously, the trailer you guys cut really put that story down. You know, the huge clash that was happening outside the fortress. Are we going to start experiencing stuff like that immediately, where it's in your face? You know, Horde Alliance.
When you log in for Battle for Azeroth, you're going to go right to that battle that you saw in that cutscene. So the Battle for Lordaeron is the first thing you're going to do in this expansion.
Wow. So, okay, we're getting right in there. So we've seen Sylvanas come, you know, she kind of betrayed us recently and stuff like that, us, the Alliance, back in the day and stuff. Is there going to be that kind of villain that there was? You know, it was Garrosh, it was Illidan, it was... you know, the Lich King. Is that going to happen in Battle for Azeroth?
Well, you know, because we just defeated the Burning Legion, and this is a time for us to instead, you know, who's the big bad right now is kind of, I think, the question. Right now, I imagine you're going to see more of Alliance versus Horde, and it's going to be more about Sylvanas and Anduin and them developing. But there's so much more to do than that, because we have 2 new continents that are unlocking. We're trying to find allies to help us in this war effort. So you, as the ambassador for those factions, have to deal with all sorts of things. You're going to be the emissary going out to face against all the different problems that are happening in Kul Tiras and all the different problems that are happening in Zandalar. And so in that story, I'm sure you'll uncover a few names, but for now it's really focused on this ancient rivalry.
So it sounds a bit like it's going to be threaded like Mists of Pandaria was, where initially there was no big bad because we just kind of stumbled upon this, and that was a big time of war of Horde versus Alliance at that point as well. Is it similar to that, but now we're on territories we're more familiar with?
Well, that's something that you'll have to discover as you're playing through the expansion.
I want spoilers now.
Well, think of it this way. You know, you're going to play through your factions content. There's, like I said, there's 2 different continents that you're going to see in this expansion, in addition to island expeditions, which are all the smaller little islands out in the South Seas. But as you do your continent, you're also going to be making skirmishes over to the other continent and building a foothold there. So to me, it harkens back to that day when I built my first character, which happened to be a dwarf, and I ran out to Loch Modan for the first time, and this giant group of Horde players came rushing down the road, and I'm like,
you're just like, uh-oh.
I'm not supposed to be here, or why are they here? So it really, to me, if you as you play, if you jump into beta and you start to see that excitement that comes from, like, this is enemy territory, and so there's a little bit of that going on in this expansion. So, you know, as you play through these continents and as you sort of see the different challenges that await you, I'm sure it's headed somewhere.
So I know you're pretty familiar with the Isle and all that stuff we're going to do out there, but as producer, you touch a lot of stuff, right? So
sure.
Besides what you directly worked on or oversaw, what are you really pumped for?
Well, honestly, I'm actually really pumped for Island Expeditions, but just in general as a player, being able to hop in with all the different characters that I have and be able to unlock allied races. Like, I've always wanted to play a Dark Iron Dwarf, so being able to do the challenges that I need to do in order to create one of those, I'm sort of have alt-itis. I like to create a lot of different characters, but Island Expeditions is a lot of fun. It's a new type of gameplay, and one of the things I'm excited about is these advanced NPCs. You know, in World of Warcraft, up to this point, when you are out in the wilderness and you're fighting creatures, they pretty much just run up at you and you fight them face to face and you skirmish until one of you falls over. These advanced NPCs are just something entirely new. And as a producer, I'm really excited about what the team's been able to develop. These enemies are just so cunning and so they can be infuriating sometimes. They can be so much fun.
Go through the rotation and they die.
No, because they they think for themselves. They have a lot of awareness of what's going on. They know what you're doing. They know what's going on around them. They can decide to run away. They can decide to blink away. They have so many different abilities and skills that they can use. They think as a team, and they provide this unique challenge that is not PvP. Like PvP is you against other players, but to really sell that fiction of this is the Alliance versus the Horde, this is an example of how you'll be able to face off against heroes of the other faction without it just being the same old monsters that you've been fighting before. And if you have a chance to play it here on the show floor or go check it out, you'll see just how fun and exciting it is to see them jumping around, running away, ambushing you. Like there's so many different tactics that they can do.
Very similar to what a person may do.
Yeah, what a person might do. And it really makes you feel like, wow, this is for real, right? Like this is a real battle, and I need to be smart.
There's an actual threat here.
Yeah, you're a hero. Like you've played up through to max level, and now you're fighting things that should be appropriate to your skill.
So we just talked a little on combat. I know one of the big things that's been talked about is the stat squish.
Sure.
So what do you guys think is going to happen? Like, I mean, I remember, when we would hit for like 2,000, 3,000, that was a big deal way back when, and now we're going to kind of be doing that again.
Well, honestly, the numbers got so ginormous in the last expansion that maybe it's not as meaningful when it's 7 or 8 digits. They have to look,
very true.
and it's harder to parse when it's that big. So what I found playing through Battle for Azeroth so far is that I don't mind the smaller numbers because it really highlights when I do something good. Because it's much easier to spot and say, okay, that was really effective, that really worked, and so that to me that's the philosophy behind it. Is let's give some numbers that are more meaningful, and I think it's better than having just keep adding zeros to the end. Yeah.
All right. So when can we get in Battle for Azeroth?
So Battle for Azeroth Battle for Azeroth is launching August 14th. Before then, similar to how we did in Legion, you'll be able to jump in and play events leading up to that battle. So expect to see some things rolling out there. But August 14th is the launch day.
Do we have any idea when those upcoming, the precursor events are going to kick off?
Well, we have from now until then is when they'll happen. I can't say exactly when, but just keep an eye out for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan.
Of course.